Hi there, just wanted to walk you through the email that I'm providing you here. And really the goal is to determine whether SAT or ACT is going to be the better fit for your child. So to me, the best way to do that at this point, since we don't really have a good diagnostic to compare the linear ACT, which means it's non-adaptive and it's paper and pencil, versus the adaptive digital SAT, is really to be able to take the digital SAT in one sitting on a particular day, and then hopefully not too far apart, at most a week. You also want to have your child take the ACT, again, in one sitting, and you want to simulate the testing conditions as much as possible. Essentially, getting a good 8 hours of sleep doesn't mean that the person has to sleep really early. They just have to make sure that they get 8 hours of sleep, wake up, have a good breakfast, but not overkill so that they feel sleepy during the test or anything like that. And then also, don't take any unscheduled breaks. Only take the breaks that are listed in Blue Book. Is going to go ahead and walk you through exactly how to do the 1 10-minute break between the reading and writing and then the math modules. And then on the ACT, you'll see exactly where to do the breaks as well. There's 2 in the ACT. After you complete the practice test for the SAT, the score will come up. However, it gets a little bit difficult to get back to that score. So I also give you a link so that you could get directly to it after you log into College Board there. And I also provided you a real ACT from September 2023. And these are just the last 4 pages where you'd see the answer key so that you guys can grade it for the English, math, reading, and science sections. And then based on how many you got correct, you're able to look at the scale. So for example, if you get 68 right on the English, that's a 32. If you get, 45 right on the math, whether you look on the far left, it's a 28, or you can go to the far right. And then same thing you would do for the reading and science. And then you just average those 4 scores and you round it according to normal rounding rules. So if it's obviously like a 22.0, that's a 22. A 22.25 is still a 22. 22.5 is a 23. 22.75 is a 23, and then obviously a 23.0 would be a 23. So it's always in 0.25 1/4 increments since there's 4 sections on the test. And then after that, you're able to go to this website that I provide in the email. It's called convertyourscore.org. And let's say you got a 1200 on the SAT. So notice that's an equivalent of a 25. Let's say you got a 22 on the ACT. Well, right there, we know that a 22 versus a 25 has a 3-point differential, but you could put it here for the ACT score if you wanted to see the SAT equivalent. But for me, I always compare the ACT scores. And if there's a 3 or more ACT point differential, then I would consider that statistically significant enough to say whichever one came out higher is the better test for your child. If it's less than that, so if it's a 2-point differential, a 1-point differential, or obviously a tie, then you also want to take into consideration which test did your child feel a little bit more comfortable with, maybe less rushed as far as the time goes. And then again, if it's close, maybe also take into consideration, does their school offer either SAT or ACT, let's say during their junior year for free? If so, that might be another factor that could point you more in one direction or the other. And then once you've been able to determine which of the 2 tests is the better fit, let me know and we'll go from there. And remember, you got this.